Technicians need to do almost every job in the service department. Let's go down the list. Scheduling. Typically there's someone in the front office that schedules when a customer calls in and asks like, when can I bring in my car, what time, what day. The technician actually needs to fill the scheduler's job sometimes. Let me just give you an example. Say we diagnose a car, it needs this repair and we're waiting on parts, so the customer has to bring the car back. I need to be the schedule now, go to the service advisor or the scheduler and say, hey, can Mr. Lee bring the car back on this day at this time in the morning? And I want him to bring it early in the morning so that I can get the job done for him in time because he has this appointment to make. All of a sudden, I am doing the scheduler's job. Service advisor. Remember I was saying service advisors don't have to know anything about cars? So if they need to explain something about what's wrong with the car, can you describe the symptoms? When does this happen? Guess who has to come out to the front and talk to the customer now and do the service advisor's job? Technician. It's in my job title, automotive technician. Parts department. Typically how a tech orders parts on whatever portal the dealership's using, I'll type in a description of the part, right? Like OCV bottom left side. And it is the parts guy's job to look up the correct part number, verify with the technician. Maybe there might be like an O-ring and a spacer that the OCV needs. Ideally, it would be the parts guy's job to say like, hey, do you need these two parts along with that OCV? That doesn't happen. What ends up happening, because I don't want to lose productivity time, the tech will take it upon himself to look through the electronics parts diagram and find the correct part numbers, find the related parts, type it out, and type out all that information to the parts guy. So again, all of a sudden, I'm not the tech, I am also doing the parts guy's job as well. The cough drop. Oh man. We can keep this in for some comedic relief. I'm gonna eat this cough drop. My mouth is really dry. This is a long script. Warranty clerk. If your car is under warranty and it's getting repaired, here's how that works. So there is a book time for every warranty repair. So let's say, make it easy, it needs brake pads under warranty. So the technician will get paid, let's just say half an hour to replace the brake pads on this car under warranty. So it's the warranties clerk's job, once the tech and the service advisor is done with the RO or the repair order, to go through the repair order and make sure that the job is billed for that half an hour so that the dealership can get paid from the manufacturer for that half an hour. Here's the problem with that. At one Subaru dealership I worked at, it seemed like we would go through a warranty clerk every 3 months. Sometimes the receptionist would be the warranty clerk. Why is this a problem? They don't know about cars. So let's just give an example. I do a job where I'm replacing camshafts under warranty. So the warranty clerk looks up in the warranty code, replace camshafts, 3 hours. Cool, simple. We're gonna bill 3 hours for this job. The dealership's gonna make 3 hours from the manufacturer and the technician only gets paid 3 hours. Do you recognize any problems with this? When you replace camshafts in a car, what else are you doing? Maybe you're draining and refilling the AC, draining and refilling the coolant, draining and refilling the engine oil. You're taking under trays off. Maybe you have to take the wheels off to do this job. Maybe you have to take the hood off to do this job. After you've replaced the camshafts, you should probably do a valve adjustment on this job. On and on and on. So it is actually the warranty clerk's job to look up all the warranty codes, know that, oh, this camshaft job, there are all these other things we actually need to bill for so that the dealership gets paid the correct amount and the technician gets paid the correct amount. Especially at one dealer I worked at, this never happened. So in order to make sure that I was getting paid the correct amount for this warranty job that I'm only making half my wage on, and we'll talk about that later, and I'm gonna repeat that one more time. This warranty job that I am only making half my wage on, I would take it upon myself to, and it's been a long time, but basically look at the portal that the warranty clerk uses, and there'd be like a 3-digit code for a labor item on a car. So for example, like WBJ would be remove engine under trays. And so I would look through the warranty codes and write them out on my repair order to make sure that I got paid the correct amount for this job. I guess I'm the warranty clerk now. Janitor. It is the technician's job to keep his own stall clean. Fair. it is not really the technician's job to keep the entire dealership clean. What do I mean by that? Other areas of the dealer, if the bathrooms have an issue, if the oil room has an issue, if maybe like the spare parts room, any of these areas in the service department where the technician needs to reliably access in order to do his job, if it's dirty and unorganized, even if it may not be the technician's fault, right? Like let's say an outside contractor fixes the plumbing and leaves the tool room a mess. Now I can't find any of the special tools. Guess who's cleaning that up? Manager. A lot of times the technician has to be the service manager for the service department. Yeah, unfortunately, I think every dealer I worked at, especially I was second lead at one of the Subaru dealers I worked at. I'm pretty sure every shop foreman at every dealer I worked at didn't really make that much more for the extra managerial duties he had. And even if you're a regular tech, you still had some managerial duties, right? So managing how other techs are doing. If there's salespeople that need something or shouldn't be in the shop, all of a sudden the tech has to be the manager and deal with the salespeople, the finance department, the scheduler. If there's like some interpersonal issues, a lot of times in the shop, it's the technicians taking care of it between themselves, or the shop foreman, or maybe, the older guy in the shop acting as the manager to solve things internally. Dispatcher. Dispatcher is the guy that hands the technician a work order. It takes time, it takes planning, right? You don't want to give a complicated work order for this Nissan Skyline to Cowboy Thomas, who isn't very good and can only change oil and is gonna get the car dirty and mess up this expensive customer car. The dispatcher has to know that. For example, John, I know, is really good with these older vehicles, and that's his specialty. I'm gonna try to make sure that he gets, these older vehicles so that he's happy, and then also that these cars can get the most accurate repair. At dealers I've worked at, different people have been the dispatcher. Sometimes it's a free-for-all, sometimes the service manager dispatches, sometimes the technicians have to dispatch for themselves. Either way, all of a sudden, I'm not just having to do my job as a technician, I'm also now the dispatcher. Yeah, also part of janitor. Majority of dealerships I work at kind of don't care about the service department. They really care about the front public face of the building, so basically the sales department. But if the service department has issues, right, like mechanical issues, the public doesn't see, so who cares? Why put money into it? And I'll just give you some examples. So one dealership I worked at, the building was very old. The lifts would have issues. I actually have a permanent back injury from that dealership because basically the hydraulics failed and it came down on my back. Airlines would pop open all the time. I remember specifically around that era, Chris Brown had a song, No Air. And I specifically remember that because the shop air compressor would break all the time, and I'd play that song on YouTube just because this was such a joke. No air, no air. Are you guys serious? If the techs cannot work because there's no air, the dealership is literally losing money. I could not comprehend that. But what I'm getting at is that if equipment's broken and the technicians cannot work and the dealership doesn't want to fix it, who ends up fixing those issues with the dealership or the building? So I'm gonna take my own time to fix this issue, right? This major issue with the whole dealership, like the compressor being broken. I may even take my own money. I remember one time going to Harbor Freight to get universal O-rings to fix something with the dealership, and a random customer behind me was like, "You have to buy your own O-rings? What kind of nonsense dealership do you work at?" And it's funny, even like a regular guy from the public knew that, spending your own money like that to fix a building problem was nonsense.